Thank you very much, Anata. And as you mentioned our background, and this is because Oranim is 70 years old. It's nothing comparing to PET I learned yesterday, but in Israel it's quite a lot of time. So our presentation is about diversity in action. We're going to present a case study of an art workshop for neurodiverse students. So I'm Yara, and later on I will present Adi and Mayan. Adi, please, next slide.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see, so now I know that you can see.
Yeah.
The slides are perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
So in the art workshop that we are going to present, there are neurodiverse, ethnic diverse, like Renata said, and gender diverse students. So I'm going to ask you to look at the picture and try to guess who drew what. And we will talk about it later. Okay. So inclusion in the educational system in Israel. Since 2018, every student with special needs is eligible for special education services in any educational setting chosen by his or her parents. And the idea is to encourage inclusion instead of integration. However, although it's a very great idea, still there is a lack of both budget and teacher training to work with students with diverse needs in schools. Like you mentioned before, Renata, Oranim College of Education is the largest and leading academic college of education in the north of Israel. In Oranim, there are Jews and Arab students and staff members with diverse religions and religiosity. The special education department in the college is a 4-year program aimed at training students to work in various educational frameworks, such as mainstream schools, special education classes in mainstream schools, or special education schools for students with autism spectrum disorder or learning disabilities, conduct disorder, and intellectual and developmental disabilities. In the practice teaching, the students learn how to plan, perform, evaluate lessons and interventions to promote the quality of life of students with special needs. As part of our vision, the Special Education Department strives to promote a perception of inclusion of neurodiverse children in mainstream environment. As part of the field experience, we offer the students an opportunity to teach adults with special needs, mainly adults with intellectual disability. Since 2016, we have great collaboration with neighboring Kfar Tikva village, which is an inclusive community and home for life for over 220 adults with cognitive, developmental, and emotional disabilities. 8 to 15 residents participate each year in a learning group at Oranim campus, learning various topics such as science, leadership, creative writing, astronomy, and even a radio workshop, which at the end of the year, the group produced a radio broadcast. Like you can see the picture, this is a photo from this workshop. The teachers of these classes are students from the Special Education Training Program in Oranim College. This is like a win-win situation since the college students practice their teaching skills and familiarize themselves with neurodiverse students, while Kfar Tikva residents get the chance to learn and broaden their education in a college environment. In accordance with state policy for increasing inclusion, which I mentioned before, our students as future teachers in mainstream schools will need to promote inclusion of children with special needs in mainstream classes. We believe that in order to be able to do this, it is beneficial for them to experience such inclusion themselves. This notion gave the birth to the current pilot course, which is an art workshop for neurodiverse students. The lecturer of this course is Dr. Adi Ne'eman. The fact that she is an art teacher and also has a PhD in special education made her perfect for this role. We will now present the course and some preliminary findings of the midterm evaluation of this case study. So Adi, please.
Thank you. So I want you to look at this picture. Can you tell me, what do you see? I'm waiting.
Come on, audience.
So, what can you see? Can you see yourself? Because at one of the classes, you'll see in what number, I opened this bunch of broken toys on the floor, and I asked the student, what can you see? And one of them said, I can see myself as a child. I will not tell you if she's originally a student of Kfar Tikva or Oranim. When I was approached with this idea of creating an art class for neurodiversity students, I didn't need to do anything new, because every class I teach has neurodiversity students, even us. Different languages, different culture, different cognitive abilities and understanding. And I went to a model that, if you don't know it, I recommend that you learn about it, of the UDL, the Universal Design for Learning, that we teach our students to use it in special education classes when you have a lot of variety between the abilities of the students. It is a model that enables you to design materials that can be used in the same activity suitable for all. So another thing that were my, like we can say, the slogan behind me in this class, that I wanted really within my heart that the students will come out with this notion that we are more alike than different. And as an artsy person, I think that creating art together enable us to meet each other in the most honest and basic meeting point. So I will tell you a little bit about our class. This is a picture from the first activity of the second meeting. And if you take a closer look, I think you will be able to identify the difference between the special education teachers to be, that taking the role of helping. If you take a look, they are the one with the glue in their hand. Luckily for us, or for me, in COVID, I got the permit from the college to teach outside. So I designed an art class that is creating in nature. And this is a quote from the course syllabus. So some of the students read it, and according to that, they decided to come to our class. And some of them just had a window in their schedule, so they end up in that class. So I had 4 main goals behind designing the curriculum of this class. One of them was together and alone, creating together, creating along, thinking together and thinking by yourself, planning and doing something planned and something spontaneous, knowing to shift between the two, working with the planning and supervision and evaluation processes all the time, designing something, thinking, is that what I meant? If not, I need to change it or not. And the last but not least is collaboration, working together and knowing how to work together. And you can see here 2 pictures from 2 creation. One of them were made by someone who did it she did it by her own, and one is a group effort. Can you guess? No one? Okay, think about it.
I think the totem, the rock totem was a group process.
No, the other way around. Thank you for guessing wrong. So I used a lot of materials, because I think that when you work with a group and you know that some of them originally have or might have sensory issues, I want to give them the opportunity of experiencing creation with lots of materials. And you can see some of them in the pictures, and it's all of them, I wrote them. And the thing is that when you give them the opportunity to experience from one hand and choosing from the other, you can get more creation and less avoiding. So these are you can see the list of the classes. The first three ones, I didn't tell them before, but my aim was get to know each other, please. So in those meetings, I told them, now you work together, you and you together, and now you go three together and then a group. I told them what to do and where to do it and with who. And after those three meetings, at the beginning of the natural print workshop, I told them, okay, now you know each other, now just work. And you can see that in each class, I have a hidden agenda of my own. And in the end, with the students' point of view of Oranim College, you will see if I did it right or not. So one of the things that I work with my students, and in this class as well, is doing a template. So people can feel comfortable. They know they're coming over and over again to the same template of a class, of a workshop. We begin with a research exercise, and then we draw conclusion, and then we do something else. In the end, we have a joint product. We do a exhibit of our work. I want to show you the work of class number 5, which was dots and lines. They use stones, gouache, and finger paintings. And as you can see, the first, I will give you if you want to take your colors out, you can join the class now. So first thing, you need to take an A4 paper and fold it to 2. Open it up. Then you need to choose a stone. Look at all the stones you have and see which one speaks to you, which one you like the shape, the colors, and then put the stone in the center of your paper. Now, one side of the stone will have dots on the paper, don't touch the stone, and the other one will have lines. I brought in brushes, I brought in Q-tips, I brought in wine taps, so they can print them and not touch it. And if they wanted, they can use the finger. So we have all kinds of possibilities. And after they finish putting the dots and the lines, they need to look at the stone. And during that work, I saw one of the guys holding the stone and starting to talk to the stone, asking her, what do you want, stone? Do you want lines or dots? So I took that idea and I told everyone, listen to your stone. What does your stone need? The line or the dots? And then put them on the stone. After the stone was decorated, they took a big paper, put it or in the center or in the side, and then related to the stone with the dots and the lines. And you can see the work. And what I really, really like that in the end, you can look at the work and you don't know who did it. You cannot tell. Other thing I could see and I see when they work is some people choose to work together on the same paper, some next to each other, some choose to work alone, and it doesn't matter if they're from Oranim College originally or from Faculty 5 to speak Hebrew originally or Arabic, if they're men or women, it doesn't matter. Each time, different people choose differently. I want to tell you, to finalize my experience from this couple. You have here a guy that comes from Kfar Tikva. He's very active. He does not stop talking at all. He even calls me in the middle of the night, sending me messages, and I don't answer, I just listen, saying, Adi, you're pretty, and things like that, which is good for me to know that he thinks that, but then you need to put boundaries, and he doesn't have any boundary with this lady. One time she gave him a ride to the college, and since that day, he likes her more than others. But you can see here in the first picture on the, I don't see if you can see my marker.
Yeah.
In this picture, you can see them working, and she's starting doing the lines. She puts it in the center, he puts it in the center. Then she started doing the lines, and he copied with the same color. He said, I'm doing like you. And then he moved to other colors. And then he said to himself, oh, it's enough. And he took the Q-tip and started putting the dots. When he did the lines, he didn't stop talking to the stone, to us. But when he started doing the dots, it was like yoga, or I don't know, he was like into it, and silence, and zoomed in. And then she looked at him and said, and took the Q-tip as well and started copying him. So it was beautiful to see that they work side by side, and one time each one influenced the other. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking and observing, writing notes for myself. I know that it's a journey that only started. And I want Yara to summarize and said what the students' views are. Thank you.
Thank you, Adi. So for the group of students from our department in Oranim, Mayan, which is also here, she held already 3 sessions throughout the semester. The idea was that each student could ventilate their emotions and thoughts. The first session was held before the beginning of the course, and the second and the third 3 lessons later after each other. So we'll now present the themes. I have to say it's a preliminary analysis, but you can. We want you to see it. So the first session was before the first lesson, and it was about. They were talking about hopes and fears, and you can see in the hopes. For example, I hope to get to know each other, to feel a sense of belonging. They wonder how creation and art will be a means for communication. And of course, they hope to enjoy, to be calm. And the fears were, will there be strange or inappropriate behaviors, and how would I know how to respond to it? They were talking about the fact that they don't want to be sorry or pity for, to feel sorry or pity the students from Kfar Tikva. And they wonder if they will have patience. This was before. After 3 lessons, they had another meeting, and in this meeting they had they brought many open questions, which you can see here. They were asking themselves how they can prevent the automatic need to take responsibility for them, like Adi described earlier. I fear that I will not give the right advice because the students from Kfar Tikva sometimes ask many questions, sometimes personal questions that they were not sure what should they do and how should they answer. Someone said that in this course there is no place to be an educator, but also not to be friends. So it was strange for them. We can now see how they felt three lessons later, and you can see what we call the winds of change. They said that the learning experience in the course is different from what we are used to, not academic, but experiential and enabling. Now that we know each other, it's easier to set limits. The feeling of pity has gone. Another one in the same notion. At first, I felt the need to help. I kept looking around to see who needed my help. Now I'm waiting for them to contact me if they need help. I do not automatically rush to help them. There was a fear of the unfamiliar. Now there is a sense of familiarity, and they discovered that indeed art has the connecting power. And it feels nice when one of them chooses to work with me. And sometimes the artwork is of a better quality than ours. And this was the reason that we chose art in the first place. And two more notions, insights about the course. And for me, as the head of the special education department, it is very important to hear. This course should be a compulsory course for both special education and regular education free service teachers who are going to include children with special needs into their classrooms. The course and the lecture are a model for inclusiveness that we all should take with us to our future work environments. So this was very nice to hear. And one last slide. Okay.
I think we got there.
Yeah.
That our students now know that we're more alike than different.
Okay.
And I'll just go through some of their works from the first, the second. They had a journey, they made a journey notebook together, and those are some of the covers. They worked with charcoal on black and white. Together, you can see it's a group effort. That was a natural printing leaves with watercolors. This is sculpture. It was a class that was on nature sculpture with nature. This is a workshop of self-portrait, and you can see the joint effort of they saw the rainbow in that pile that we started with. And they really like taking the pictures. And in the final class that we're now just was yesterday, they made, you can see that one, a single person. They made small maquettes. And then we did election. And one of the sculpture was built yesterday in Oranim, and the other one will be built next week in Kfar Tikva. So you can see this rail, now it's empty. And this is a hedgehog that they're gonna do next week. But the rail now is decorated with columns that they did together yesterday. And we'll wait to the winter to go back to being dirt. So thank you for listening. And we enjoyed it. So we hope you enjoyed listening to it as well.